Hi everybody, welcome to the Hey Moxie Caregiver Coaching Clinic. My name is Kathy Clark and I'm with Moxie Mobility Training. My background is physical therapy. I'm also a senior fitness instructor, certified lymphedema specialist, a brain injury specialist, fall prevention specialist, and I have a degree in sports psychology. We're bringing you this clinic today and here we go. So who are we? We are we're called Moxie Mobility Training. We are a team of personal trainers and volunteers that we specialize in our clients' unique needs, movement and mobility, prevention of injury and falls. We launched into travel prep for people wanting to go on vacations and help people manage to go with family and even if they want to go on their own. Those bucket list travel kind of things. We're training caregivers as we're here today. We help people age in place through modifications and resources, and what we all want is quality of life, and that's what we're really trying to bring to people. Oops, I forgot to talk about, these are our guides. It's myself, Corey, and Diana, our guides, and then we have Gail, Judy, and Nancy Jordan as our volunteers. So in Moxie Mobility Training, our mission is to increase mobility and empower clients and caregivers by instilling purpose, enhancing quality of life, fostering improved health, facilitating successful aging in place, preserving independence, and significantly lowering the risk of falls in older adults. So let's start off with, what do we all want out of life?
You mentioned it, quality of life.
Quality of life, absolutely. And we want to be right there on the beach having quality of life, right?
Right.
Or in my home.
Or in your home, hanging out. But going occasionally to places.
Right.
Okay, there we go.
Not being stuck.
We don't want to be stuck at home.
Right.
So quality of life, the definition is an overall sense of well-being and fulfillment influenced by physical health, emotional state, social connections, and the ability to engage meaningfully in life. If it's not a combination of all of those, we don't quite have quality of life because they're all so interconnected in how our being is. So quality of life is affected by aging as individuals experience shifts in physical health, social dynamic transitions, emotional well-being transformations, changes in environmental factors, and while some aspects decline as we get older, right, others can improve and be maintained through intentional efforts. So we never really want to say it's just because I'm getting older, right? It might be because you're just not doing things as much as you normally do. So, hi, did you want to join in?
No, I am early for my class.
Oh, okay.
Can I listen?
Absolutely, 100%. Happy to have you.
Over here if you want to go.
No, I'm here, okay.
Okay, thanks so much though. Sure, listen on up. So aging doesn't mean a diminished quality of life. With the right support, resources, and mindset, which again, it's emotional component too, right? And many older adults lead fulfilling and meaningful lives well into their sunset years. As caregivers, how can we improve quality of life for both us and our loved ones? Because it is all about reducing burden. So how to improve? We broke it into 6 steps. We break it down, which may be any obstacle that you're facing. You make the list of how you're going to make it happen or what resources you need. You find help, you have fun, you pat yourself on the back that you did a great job. That's also a stretch, so you want to do that often, right? And repeat. Every time an obstacle comes up, you want to do the same thing, okay? So what does quality of life mean to you? So, hang on one second, let me get this to Karen. So I gave you a workshop sheet. Sorry. So what does quality of life mean to you? So let's look at your goal sheet that everybody has. I see Nance filled that out, great. It kind of helps you as a worksheet of when you're giving care of how to break your obstacles down and make them work for you. So let's take a look at them. All right, everybody good with that? Anything surprising on those worksheets that you found out?
Well, it says obstacles of my loved ones. There's a lot of questions about my loved ones, but I have no idea.
Okay.
So,
Well, it's really about how you're caring for them.
okay, because I don't have anyone.
Okay. Okay. Well, but you can also pass it on, right? So if you find someone that you see an obstacle for them, I mean, I wouldn't go say, "Hey, here, I figured it out for you."
I have cousins.
But if you have questions, this is a good tool to break down where you see there might be obstacles for them, because they may not even notice. What I've noticed out there is that people don't even realize when they're caregivers. Right? Like I asked David if he was a caregiver. He's like, well, I have a grandparent that's older, and if you're doing anything for them, like taking them to appointments or, helping them with medications, helping with bills, grabbing their mail, you are a caregiver. You're giving care. I have a lot of spouses that don't even realize they're caregivers. And actually, we even had a granddaughter the other day I was talking to who said, no, I'm not a caregiver. I just do this. She laid out about 10 things that she did for that person, but she didn't realize she was being a caregiver for them. She just, it's her grandmother. She was just doing it for her, right? So breaking down what actually a caregiver is really important, because it could just be a small thing, just making your neighbor happy, like helping them bring their mail in, taking their trash out. That's still being a caregiver for that person. Because you're doing something for them that either is difficult for them to do or they're unable to do.
Well, I should point that out. I'm a caregiver for numerous people.
There you go. Right? And you knew there was a reason why you came here today.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so what is aging in place? Let's talk about that now that we've determined whether we're caregivers or not. There's 4 pillars to success that I've found in my experience as a caregiver. As well as so I'm a professional caregiver as well as a personal caregiver. I'm a physical therapist assistant, so I'm taking care of people in rehabilitation settings, as well as we're doing this personal training, which is taking our therapy-based knowledge and putting out for people so after they discharge from a facility or, helping them along the road with a little bit more of that, that process to stay well. Thank you. So these are the 4 pillars that I've found. And what is aging in place? The ability of older adults to live safely, independently, and comfortably in their own homes or their communities for as long as possible, regardless of age, income, or physical ability. So the 4 pillars to successful aging are strength, safety, resources, and caregivers. Caregivers is a vital part of how we are going to age well and remain in our community. Under the pillar of strength, we have physical strength, emotional strength, and cognitive strength. Under safety, we have environment and access to services. Under resources, we have social, community, spiritual, existential, fulfillment, and contribution. What do I give back to my community? And as caregivers, we have autonomy and independence. So let's talk about the first pillar, which would be strength, emotional, cognitive, and physical. Emotional strength is our foundation of our resilience. We have the strength of our caregiver, but we also have the strength of our loved one. Emotional strength is not about avoiding struggles, but navigating them with clarity, confidence, and connection. So again, we figure out what our obstacles are, right? Emotional strength, again, the foundation of our resilience. We need to have a sense of purpose, which is finding meaning, intention, and a direction to stay motivated. We have empowerment, which is building confidence and control over life's decisions. We have resilience, bouncing back from challenges with courage and adaptability, which is a huge thing to be flexible about things. We have emotional awareness, which is recognizing and managing feelings effectively. We have connection, where we can draw strength from relationships in our community. And then there's self-care, which is prioritizing mental and emotional well-being. For cognitive strength, There's the ability to think clearly, solve problems effectively, learn and retain information, and adapt to changing circumstances. It encompasses memory, focus, decision-making, and the resilience to handle mental challenges. So how do we do that? We do that by mental stimulation, right? We learn new skills. We have the puzzle table over here. We have reading. Even coming through and reading the handouts that I give you, that is helping you with mental stimulation, listening to me through education. There's painting, which a painting class is going on in the other room. Writing, music, and again, just attending educational pieces to give you more knowledge. We have lifestyle and physical health, which is another way to keep us mentally or cognitively strong. That would be exercise. Exercise is great to increase our circulation, and which is also in our brain, right? Mindfulness, so we take some time if we are dealing with some struggles to just kind of be out of mind and just be quiet and let it just be for a little bit. Nutrition and hydration, which I can't even tell you how many clients I've been talking to about drinking enough water and eating properly. That is a huge part of where we are to maintain our good lifestyle and physical health. And sleep. How many people are sleeping and getting a good night's sleep?
I should have more hours.
You should have more hours. All right. Do you mind sharing why you don't have enough hours?
I get too involved in things and don't quit until I finish, and it gets late, and then if the worst thing is going on the computer in the evening. Gets stuck.
You and I are kindred spirits, because it's the same thing with me. As a small business owner, it's hard to put the computer down and go away because you have so many things that you have to do, which you realize if you were working in a company, there would be about 10 other people doing that for you. So it gets a little overwhelming, and you just keep going. Plus, I'm a night owl, so I don't like to go to bed because it's so quiet and nice. So. But yes, but sleep is so important in our physical health. And as we get older too, there's this thing where we have to run to the bathroom all the time at night, right? So that does interrupt our sleep, and it doesn't give us the best sleep that we can get. So it's important to manage that and talk to doctors about that, of how can we get this to go a little better for me. Setting alarms maybe to this is my time that I need to shut off and go to bed. I don't know, something like that doesn't really work for me. Mine keeps going and going as I hit snooze, 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 right? But then we have social and emotional engagement, which is part of the reason why we're here at the COA, because it is so important to have community. And I love that as we're here, there's so many people coming and going, and even our friend in the back who came in for another class is taking advantage of the fact that we're here and she can sit and listen before she goes into her other class. Having those relationships, having activities, traveling is a huge thing. As I stated, we launched Travel Prep to help people if they have some mobility issues to actually still be able to go with a little bit of help either as a companion or travel agent. One of my many hats is an accessible travel planner, so we can actually book travel to make it more accessible for people to go.
That's good news.
Thanks. But it's not only what we can give people, it's also what people can give us, right? So that going into a community like the COA and sharing, like as an instructor in our balance class here, I love the conversations that we have because I learn so much about how to be a better instructor from my people that come into the class. So it's a two-way street in the community. If you stay home by yourself a lot, that's not giving you that two-way that you need. And so many clients that stay home really wish for someone to come to their house. Well, if you're wishing for someone to come to the house and people aren't coming, you might have to go get it yourself. Right. So special consideration with the cognitive strength is dementia. Dementia significantly impacts our quality of life. It accelerates the aging process, affecting individuals physically, emotionally, and socially. It increases the need for health care. It escalates the demand on caregivers. It profoundly impacts family and friends, right, by there's an emotional strain that comes with it. Either you're grieving for the person themselves because you see things changing and you know how they want to be. There's challenges in communication at times. where, you know, if people aren't remembering what's being said, it gets very frustrating for the person who does remember. And we have to remember to always keep, you know, an open mind and being kind and sensitive. And if we have to repeat things a million times, that's okay. Just keep it happy and you know, don't make the person feel bad that they can't remember it. We are, as caregivers, have a sense of loss as the individual's personality and independence diminished over time. But don't forget, so does that person. That person's having the same emotional component. Even if they can't remember, they can feel that something's different and changing. So what we want to do is, as I mentioned, support is key. Proactive measures and compassionate support can help individuals and their families find moments of connection and joy despite the challenges. I wrote down here, try reminiscence therapy checklists or memory books. This reminiscence therapy is a new thing to me, but it's sitting with your loved one and going through the memory books. So not just a memory book for the person, but for people to engage with and have them talk about pictures and or talk about situations or, you know, fun events, that kind of thing. So it's a very big key of how to keep people happy and feeling engaged and feeling worthwhile.
I also understand that people who play music, that's a really great connection for people with dementia.
Yes, and many other diagnoses too. Yes, yes. Music makes us happy. Listening to music makes us use our brain, right? If people were dancers, like that memory of dancing comes up. And I will tell you, there are studies with Parkinson's. If you play music, people that are rigid or get stuck moving forward, all of a sudden become the best ballroom dancers if they were one, because they just think about the music. They're not necessarily thinking about their moving, because this is muscle memory. They're weaving and dancing, right? It's also been found, speaking of dancing, that dancing reduces the risk of falls by 40%. So turning that music on and just like bebopping around is really healthy for all of us. Brain and body, right? All right. So let's talk about a strategy example. We just talked about the reminiscence therapy. This is where individuals with dementia and their loved ones engage in conversation, activities, or experiences centered on the meaningful memories, such as looking through old photos, listening to favorite music, right? Fostering emotional connection and sparking joy. How we doing? So for physical strength is the ability of the body to perform tasks requiring power, endurance, and resilience, supporting overall health and functionality. Here are the benefits. There are quite a few, right? We have strength, balance, flexibility, coordination, circulation, food too, but mood and mental health, prevention of fall risk, injury, and illness, lymphatic flow. Does everybody know what the lymphatic flow means? I have a couple yeses, a couple no. The lymphatic system is the sewer system of our body. We don't hear about it much, right? Maybe
especially in those terms.
Yeah, the sewer system of our body. It takes all the gunk and the bad stuff and gets it out of our body. So increasing that helps, right? We get those toxins and other things out better, that they don't just sit there like sludge and cause other bad things to happen, right? It's also where our immune system is in our lymphatic, okay? Happy hormones are not reduced, they are elevated by us exercising. We have weight control, sleep, endurance, energy, immunity, as I mentioned about the lymphatic system, strong bones, and much, much more. Many benefits to exercise. All right. And then we have deterrence, which there aren't very many, right? There's two. One is if your doctor tells you no, and that doesn't usually mean no exercise completely, but you want to find out what you can do. So if they say no exercise, say, well, what does that mean? Does that mean I can't move? Like, do I have to be completely bedbound and not move? Or is gentle walking, gentle exercise like my ankles, is that going to be okay to do that? The other deterrent is your mindset. So if you're telling yourself no, you shouldn't exercise, or I don't want to exercise, or whatever, that's not so great to your physical strength. So kind of dive into that more. Like if you think exercise is like lifting barbells and going to the gym, that's not the only way to exercise. That's one way, and it's not a bad way to get strength training. But there's so many other things that you can do. And with us in Moxie Mobility Training, we actually don't use weights very much because we work on people's weight of their own body to help them do exercises and get stronger. So the best way to exercise, number one, consult your doctor, because you want to make sure there's none of those no's that you shouldn't be doing, right? Like if you had some back or neck injuries, there might be some no bend, lift, or twist precautions, things like that. So talk to your team doctor, because they're your team. Start slow and progress slowly. We have a lot of people who decide to go play pickleball, jump into a game of people that are playing pickleball for a long time and get injured. We don't want that. Start at a good level, at a beginner's level. If you haven't done a sport or an activity yet, ask for help, right? Hydrate, water. We want to drink about 54 ounces of water a day, according to the National Council on Aging. If you're exercising, that number may be even higher. So you want to really look at your hydration, and you can get hydrated through eating soup or cucumbers or other things too beside water, but water intake should be about 54 ounces. You want to use proper body mechanics because we want to prevent injury. What we're finding with our clients is the body mechanics have broken down when people start to feel unsteady, and it may be just a simple matter of keeping your feet apart wider or using your arms a little better. Know your limits and how to use equipment. Again, don't jump to the gym and decide you're going to go do all those big heavy weights. Ask the people that at most gyms, there's someone there to give you some advice on how to use equipment. And if they're just sitting around, they probably would like to go through and have a conversation with you too. Eat well. Make sure we're getting enough protein to build those muscles. Okay. Listen to your body and rest when needed. Huge. If you get fatigued, just take a rest for a couple seconds. Life changes dramatically. And your muscles don't operate as well when they're fatigued, especially if you're going out to strengthen them. Just imagine they're going to get a little fatigued if it's something you don't usually do. Don't go out and exercise for 4 hours the first time you go out. I promise you probably won't want to do that the next time, right? And it might deter you from exercising. So go out and have fun with it. No pain. We can't express this enough. You should not be exercising with pain. You are not allowing your body to strengthen well. Sometimes if some pain might be necessary, but you want to make sure it's like down like below 3 out of 10. Okay, anything higher, you're really not getting your body into strengthening well. And again, reach out if you have questions on that. If you're seeing physical therapy, be honest with them if what hurts, what doesn't hurt, because we don't want you operating in pain. Especially as you're rehabbing, right? We want to get you out of pain and going on, and because part of that pain might be you not knowing your limits, or someone else has set limits for you. That whole no pain, no gain, throw it out. That does not happen in rehab. It's basically for bodybuilding, and I don't know what else. Anybody else know what else? Nope. So why do we do it to ourselves? It's a competitive nature that we have. We need to put that in check sometimes if we're trying to rehab, and not tell ourselves that we're not doing enough. Be always happy with what your body can do for you.
It doesn't pay to be too stubborn.
It does not pay to be too stubborn. No, it does not. Your body will thank you if you give it a break. Always be safe and be in control. All right, try not to do movements that are quick and jerky. We want to be in control of our movements. We have a saying in jiu-jitsu that slow is smooth, smooth is fast. So before you go fast, you got to make sure your movements are smooth. And always have fun with it, because if you're not going to have fun, you're probably not going to want to do it, right? All right, what else we have? Okay, well that brings us up to our 6 rules that we like to adhere to in our clinics, in our balance classes, and pretty much everything we do. It is for clients and caregivers. So the number 1 rule is
Breathe.
breathe. We know bad things happen if you don't breathe, right? Muscle tightness can happen also if you're holding your breath, so your muscles are not going to perform properly because they're not getting enough oxygen to do that, right? Breathing calms us and makes us kind of grounded again. Check out your breathing. If you're only breathing shallowly, I can't even say that word, shallowly, then you may not be getting enough oxygen intake. Your lungs aren't expanding enough to get everything moving well enough. You have muscles in your rib cage, they may not be getting used enough if they're not expanding enough. So breathing is very important. Number 2 is posture. Oh, nobody sat up straight. Usually I say that and everybody goes up. So posture is an alignment. Do you know what the alignment is? What are our landmarks on our body to show us proper posture?
You just want to make sure your spinal column is lined up from your head down to your buttocks.
And farther down too if you're standing.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so does anybody know what those landmarks might be?
Your hips,
Hips are 1, yeah.
knees,
Nope, not knees.
feet,
Something above your feet.
Head,
ankles,
Ankles, yep, ankles, hips. 2 more.
your head.
Something on your head.
shoulders,
Shoulders is another, yep.
neck,
Just above your neck.
head, right?
On your head.
Ears?
Ears.
So it's ears, shoulders, hips, and ankles, right?
Oh,
So those are
I
important.
know the song. Ears.
Shoulders, knees, and toes,
Toes,
knees
yeah.
and toes. But not knees, not toes, but ears, shoulders, yep. So that's what is proper posture alignment. So if there's a little bit of a head forward, that actually what I just learned is like 1 to 2 inches adds 20 to 30 pounds of pressure on your back. It's like holding up 20 to 30 pounds. So think about, can you hold out your arm and hang on to a gallon of milk?
I can do it with one arm, I can't do it with the other.
How long can you hold it for?
I would say a very short time.
Okay, but think about that. If your head is 8 to 12 pounds normally over your shoulders, but all of a sudden it comes forward a little bit, it now becomes 20 to 30 pounds. All that is translating into your lower back and using smaller muscles to hold it up. So is it a wonder we have back pain? So that posture is so huge. If you're a little bit forward and your shoulders are rounded, all of a sudden now my arms are hanging in an improper position, then down by the side of my body. Are we wondering why we have shoulder issues? Right? With that little bit of forward, it's now changing my center of gravity. Now I'm putting more pressure on my knees, which are not usually in the process other than standing you up to hold you forward. Now that's a lot of pressure on my hips and knees. Okay, so again, are we surprised we have knee and joint problems? And on it goes. We are going to do a whole class on that. And then we have base of support, which is where our arms and legs are, okay? Holding us up, how we stay steady. We have forward gaze, so if you notice some people start to look down straight at the ground, notice my head comes forward, my body follows my head. Okay, so it's really important to keep that gaze ahead, 6 to 10 feet. As you're walking, you're going to see things come up quickly, you're going to be able to react to them differently. So it's very important to do that. We want to be in control. We talk about that game-ready position, right? We always want to be in control of our movements, nothing quick and jerky that might knock us over. Sometimes people come at us and they just don't see us and we have to react really quickly. So that's even more important to be in control if you're standing or walking, to be able to react and change positions. And then we always say, number 6, make a plan. Okay, how am I going to be stronger? How am I going to do things? Like you're here, so you're making a plan of how to be a better caregiver, which is going to trickle on down the line of other things and how to be good at things. Our strategies, again, we want no pain, And we want to be game ready all the time, so soft knees, straight back, piked at the hips. Okay, and we just had a class let out. Lovely seeing everybody walking around. Yeah, it's okay. I may not have enough handouts. Okay, so we talked about how to exercise. We always want to exercise in the moderate to somewhat hard. Okay, we don't want to make it easy on ourselves, and we don't want to make it too hard on ourselves. We want to feel like we are doing some work, but it's still like a pleasurable work. All right, and when is the best time to start? Right now. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to march for 2 minutes. So everybody up?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. Oops, hang on, I got to get my timer out here. Oh, there's some way to do a timer.
You moved here, right?
Okay. I know there's a way to do it on there, but we'll do this. All right, we're going to march for 2 minutes. Everybody ready? So again, we said no pain and no fatigue, right? Okay, so here we go. Starting on up marching. Try to go opposite arm, opposite leg. Even more reason to get those legs, those arms and legs moving together. Opposite arm, opposite leg. And if your elbows are not going behind your back, you're not giving yourself the best balance that you can do. Nice. Okay, and how long does everybody think that was?
1 minute.
30 seconds. Yep. And we're just marching here. So check out your base of support, how close together your feet are. Widen them up a little bit. You're going to feel a little more stable, even with heels on.
That was probably more stable.
Yep. Nice.
Okay,
Everyone's
that's
looking
1
good.
minute.
Let's see.
Are you right?
You're right.
Wow.
You counting in your head?
She's like, I've been through this enough. Oh, there's a clock over there. Oh. Got good vision.
Here we go.
We're all in
How's
sync.
everybody
Okay.
feeling? Yep, we all just got it synced up. You're right.
Come on,
We
David,
did.
move those legs.
I'm working.
It's working over there.
I exercised this morning already.
He's like, ooh, that's so.
Oh, going a little extra there.
All right, 15 seconds.
15 seconds.
Look at everybody smiling though, right? This is the effect that exercise can do. We talked about it. Releasing, that was the word I couldn't figure out. Releasing those happy hormones, right? And done. Nice job. Okay. How's everybody feeling after that?
Good.
Look at that. Thumbs up. Everything's good. Okay, so now we're going to do a little seated ankle range of motion. Oh, geez, I didn't bring the pods, but we'll do the pods. Okay. We're going to do a little seated ankle range of motion. So these are pods that we have. It doesn't have to be this fancy, okay? We're just going to go up and down. So just go toes up, heels up. So do that 10 times. Nice. Yep. And you don't have to do this quickly. You want to kind of stretch out the front. Like if you feel anything tight, right there. So toes up, heels up. Yep. You can do this sitting. It's a little more difficult standing. If you're doing it standing, it might look more like this.
Raise.
Yep. And again, take your time with it. If you want to work on speed, work on speed. But if you want to just work on strengthening and stretching, just go a little bit slower, okay? Everybody do 10 of those? Yeah? Okay. And then we've got fencing and PNF patterns for you. What is that? All right, so we're going to stand up. Excuse me 1 second. All right, we're going to stand up. We're going to hang, say ta-da,
Ta-da.
Ta-da.
and then we're going to put it in our pocket. And when you're doing that, you're going to look at your thumb, and follow your thumb and say, ta-da, ta-da. There you go, I love it. And then put it back in your pocket. Let's do a couple of those. Ta-da. It makes it more fun when you say ta-da. Have fun with your exercise. Yep, let's do one more. Ta-da. Yeah, and I would recommend doing about 10 of those at home. We'll do the other side. Ta-da. Yep, put it in your pocket. So you can hang on to, we do noodles, we do dusters, anything, make this more fun where you're saying ta-da and then put it in your pocket. Let's do 2 more of those. I'm not hearing ta-da over there, Mike. He's like, yeah, no. David either. Okay. So that's one side of it. So the other one is, like, again, if you have something in your hand, you want to present your sword. Okay? Now notice where your feet are. Are your knees bouncy? Are you in that game ready position? Because that's how we want to do these exercises, okay? So your hand is out or your sword is showing, and then you're going to say, over there.
Over there.
And you're going to point, again, your eyes follow your thumb, okay? So over there. And come back down. Yep. And over there. And we'll do one more of these, and then we'll go to the other side.
Over there.
Over there.
Over there.
Over there. That's right. See, a song comes in, right? All right, so again, present your sword. Other side. Corey's got this going. And then we're going to go over there. Yep, and you should feel everything move in your body from your toes to your fingers and up through your neck and back.
Oh, I feel that right in my waist.
You feel that right in your waist?
Over there.
Yep, and make sure it goes down. So you start low and then you're going to go up.
Over there.
Yep. Now, if you have limited shoulder range of motion, that's going to be just where you can go, but try to just do it and not push through it and no pain, right? Okay, very good, very good. Have a seat. Because now we're going to work on sitting and standing. So the last exercise, I promise.
Last one. Might want to take your shoes off.
Okay. So these are just simple exercises. It took us, what, maybe 2 minutes to do all these, that we just kind of hit most major parts of our body to exercise, okay? The sitting and standing is very important to do. There are tests with the government. CDC put out fall risk assessment tests for all of us rehab professionals to use, and this is a big major one of how many times a person can sit and stand in 30 seconds, okay? So we are going to time 30 seconds. And what I want to caution again, no pain, okay? If you get tired, just rest. It is what it is, okay? Be kind to your body and just feel. Now, if you start to have knee pain, just stop. What you can do at home is to raise yourself up, like maybe at the edge of your bed, or if you have a cushion in your chair, to make it, see where it feels good to do it, and then you start to exercise there. Your legs will get stronger. You will slowly start to progress, going a little lower, but you're still building the strength in a proper way. If you're doing this and hurting yourself every time, your body is not going to like it, and it's going to go into protection mode. Okay? Okay, so are we ready to try? I should probably, let me grab a chair. I'll do it with you. Okay, before we start, I want you to look at where your feet are. If your feet are too close together, this isn't going to go well. Or if that's how you're trying to challenge yourself, then okay. But if you're not challenging yourself, let's keep those feet apart and with a good base of support. Okay, are we ready to go? Yes? You can use your hands if you need to. Again, we want no pain, and we don't want to work where it's hard. We want to work where it's moderate to moderate hard, okay? All right, here we go. 30 seconds. Go.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Are you here for painting, Nancy?
Yes.
I'll put you in.
And we're over here.
And stop. All right, everybody got it? write your number down anywhere, because that is your baseline of what you are going to be working at.
Nancy just came, maybe we can get her over.
Yeah, we'll see what she wants to do over there. Corey, you want to go talk to Nancy, see what she wants to do? Okay, so moving on. This back. Okay, so in your packets should be an exercise training card like this that you can use. If I didn't put them in there, let me know and I will get you one. But we start with 8 exercises. They're calf raises, hamstring curls, marching like we did, neck range of motion, just turning your neck without being connected to the rest of your body, nice gentle movements. And again, if your doctor has told you not to, don't do it. We do side kicks, so those would be out to the side. Wall push-ups, which is important to open your pecs and get them working correctly and not keeping you rounded in your shoulders. Sit to stand, which we just did, and then we practice standing on one leg. All of those other exercises lead you up to standing on one leg, and they strengthen you in ways to make that standing on one leg get better. You can progress these exercises by adding reps. You can progress them by increasing the time, like we march for 2 minutes, maybe we march for 2.5, then 3, that kind of thing. Progress slowly again. So you can progress by adding reps. You can progress by increasing time, like with our marching, we did 2 minutes, you can add 2.5, then go to 3, however you can do that. And then even another way would be to count backwards while you're doing it, because now you're exercising your brain as well as your body. Okay. So why it's more than just taking a walk to exercise? Walking is good because you're getting your cardiovascular, you're increasing your endurance, but it's not enough to reduce the risk of falls. Your balance needs to be challenged. So again, walking alone will not reduce the risk of falls. There's a lot of other benefits, but not if you're trying to decrease your fall risk. Okay? As I mentioned, the CDC recognizes this as a global epidemic. They've created a program called STEADY. Hi, how you doing?
Hi.
Oh, you're waving to Nancy? These are fall risk assessments that we do. Measuring orthostatic blood pressure is one of our fall risk assessments. The 30-second sit to stand that we did, the 4-stage balance test, and the timed up and go. Hey, which is so all these 4 tests assess what our fall risks are. It looks at our balance. So this is us at our balance class at the YMCA, and where we are focusing and teaching people how to prevent injuries and letting them know that preventing injuries and falls is crucial in how we age well. So everyone in the back, if you want, we have some vendors that are here. If you want to ask some questions, feel free to come on over. Okay? Yeah, come on over. Grab some food too. You're hiding in the corner. So if anybody wants to talk about
Painting class, I'm good.
yeah, well take advantage of it while you're here, for sure. For sure. Oops, did I hit that? Okay. So save your back. We want to talk about transfer strategies and lifting safety, right? Again, preventing injury, especially as a caregiver, is huge because if you get injured, who's going to take care of your loved one? If you're doing primary care, right? So preventing that is going to be very huge to lower your risk of injury. So just here's some tips to how to protect your body. And I like that, how to protect your body so you can protect theirs, right? If you're lifting someone or helping them get in and out of bed, you want to get as close to them as possible. Or if you're lifting a heavy item, like a big box of Depends just came in, you got to pick them up and move them, right? Keep them close to your body, so and no long reaches or twisting from afar, okay? So you bend with your knees, keeping your back straight, and lift. Or if you're helping someone in bed, you face perpendicular to them, So if they're sitting up, you're not going there. And then if you help to turn them move, your whole body's moving. There's none of this. Because this is how we injure our back. Use your legs, not your back if you're lifting. As I mentioned, you go down low and bring up. So you bend at your hips and knees, keep your back straight, and push through your legs to stand. You don't want to lift something way out here because that is not good form to do that. And again, that's a lot of low back that's taking that, not our bigger muscles. Maintain a wide base of support. So a base of support comes into a lot of what we do quite often, right? So keeping those legs apart. Could be shoulder width, it might be a little more depending on what you're lifting for balance and stability. As you can see with our weightlifter guy here, his feet are very wide apart to maintain his stability and good body mechanics to lift something that big over his head. If you're doing that, we need to have a conversation because that is a lot of weight, okay? Again, we talked about avoid twisting. You turn your whole body so you step and pivot instead of twisting at the waist. Because that twists your spine, that's called torque, and we don't want to add that to our spine at all. That's not good for us. Keep your movement smooth, no jerking, yanking, or sudden direction changes. You wouldn't want to help somebody get up from a chair like this, because they're not expecting it. They could go backwards because you scared them, or you could just jerk something and hurt yourself. So keep your movement smooth. That's what I just said. How about ask the person to help, right? If you're a caregiver and you're helping people get out of the car or get up from their bed or anything, even walking, right? Well, not so much walking because you wouldn't be walking for them, but for those other movements, have them help you as much as you can, okay? If you are having them hold on to something to pull them up, they are not able to help you as much because they can't get their hands into the game too. So have them push off something, stand next to them close, and then just give them a little boost, either with a gait belt or back of the pants or something like that.
I felt so proud of myself because in my trunk I had a box of fireplace logs to take up the stairs to my friend. Across the street there was this young man. I went over to him and I said, "Would you please take this for me?" And he says, "More than happy to do that." So you can't be too shy and not ask. You've got to ask.
Absolutely. People are happy to help, right? It's more on us to ask them to help because, as I hear from a lot of people, they don't want to be, like, don't just because of my age, don't assume that I need the help. People like to be asked, but you also have to be the one asking, because if they're kind of like, okay, we'll see how they go, don't hesitate. Just ask people for help. I think that's really smart. Because even that, even like that, you had them do the whole task for you. But even if somebody could help you do part of the task, might be healthier for you to do it, right? And then use your tools when needed, right? Gait belts, slide boards. If people don't know what those are, feel free to reach out. We'll give a little bit more information on those. There's pivot discs, which are great for getting people in and out of a car. And they can be your friends and not a sign of weakness if people need to use those. It's just being smart. It's using tools, like a walker, like a wheelchair. Those can be tools to independence, not tools that make you feel more dependent. So injury prevention, protecting your physical strength while caring for others. We talked about proper body mechanics. You bend at the knees, not the waist. Keep the load close, the whole slide we just did. Prioritize rest and recovery. So if you do something that's pretty strenuous, just give yourself a little bit of a break to recover and get back to your normal state, and so you can continue your caregiving. Take breaks when needed to prevent fatigue, and that can be for you or your loved one, right? If you have a lot of appointments and you're trying to cram stuff so much into a day, that might not be the best for either one of you, and it might not make that day go very well. Stretch daily to maintain your flexibility and reduce muscle tension. You strengthen your core muscles. We talked about exercise. Incorporate exercises like planks, which are on your elbows, could be on your knees or on your toes where you're on the floor. I won't demonstrate. But ask your yoga instructor, they will tell you gladly. Gentle yoga to support your posture and reduce your strain. We talked about utilizing the assistive devices, use transfer belts, which are gait belts, lifts, and walkers to reduce physical effort and prevent injury. There's this great tool out there. I know it as a Sprite, but there's other names for it. It's non-mechanical. It is a device that people can stand up to, and it blocks their knees. And there's something that they can hold on to just to stand up. That's a great tool to get people out of bed, into a chair, onto a toilet, that kind of thing. So there are some pretty cool tools out there to help. With what I love about that device is it strengthens the person as well, because they have to do most of the work, just whilst the caregiver kind of keeps them safe. Avoid overexertion. Again, don't do that day cram full of medical appointments. Ask for help when tasks are too heavy or awkward, and break, like you did, Nance, good job, and break activities into manageable steps. Falls are not a normal part of aging, so with preventing injury come along, we want to prevent the falls. Again, they are not a normal part of aging. However, 25% of our older adults over 65 are falling. That's 1 in 4. That's a pretty staggering number. 95% of those 25 are resulting in hip fractures. So we really want to prevent. Florida is number 4 and Mass is number 9 for the most falls. Mostly because us snowbirds going to Florida, because the biggest month that they falls occur is December. So it's mostly because us snowbirds going down to Florida aren't used to terrain or different situations, or where we're staying is different, and that can lead to some falls.
I don't know how to read that. Adults over 65, the one that's dark is the one that's 25%?
Yeah, 1 in 4.
And the other hip fractures, all those people have hip fractures?
95% of the one person that falls results in a hip fracture. Yeah. Yeah, and we're spending $50 billion a year on fall prevention, or falling, like people in hospitals or accidents, home care situations, insurance, that kind of thing. So $50 billion is being spent.
One of my relatives who has dementia fell out of bed.
That can happen too, right? Falling can be anywhere. It doesn't have to be outside, and I would say most falls are happening either in the kitchen or the bathroom. So we want to protect ourselves. Hospitalization rates. Older adults who lose their mobility are less likely to remain living at home. They have a higher rate of disease, hospitalization, and death, unfortunately, and have a poorer quality of life, which again, what do we all want? A good quality of life, right? The mortality rate of breaking a hip, roughly 21% of people who have a fall resulting in a hip fracture die within the first year. So that last slide where it was all those people, 21% of them die within the first year. Having a break in your hip decreases your life expectancy even if the repair is successful. So we really want to prevent those falls from happening. We can't wrap people up in bubble wrap to prevent hips breaking. So we really want to keep people on their feet more steady.
Could I ask a question about hips?
Sure.
My friend that I've been taking care of had a hip replacement, and then he went to rehab, and then he's home, and he's still not getting along all that well. So the question is, does that have the same mortality kind of thing as if you had fallen and broken it? Perhaps.
Yeah, and especially that he's not getting out and doing things and engaging in the community and doing, he might need us.
I think so.
All right, let him know. So note to caregivers, caring for yourself begins with care for others begins with taking care of yourself. Not taking care of yourself can cause injury to others. You want to stay strong, stay safe. And I just heard a staggering statistic that 40% of caregivers who are caring for someone with dementia pass away before the person with dementia. Mostly because they're taking on so much of the burden and not taking care of themselves. Okay, so you really want to make sure we're taking care of ourselves to prevent that. The importance of pampering. which we had one of our caregiver clinics here. We had one of our assisted living people come and gave nice pampering to everyone, face masks, warm blankets, things like that. So we're hoping to bring that back next time. Okay, so then let's jump into why to use assistive devices. So after all that nice talk about pampering ourselves, now let's go to the tools that we can use. So assistive devices can enhance our safety, right? They reduce the risk of falls and injuries. They provide stability during transfers or mobility tasks. Like how many times you have a loved one who goes and parks their walker and then goes back and sits down, right? Kind of defeating the purpose of having that device, because probably that transfer from standing to sitting is when they might need a little extra help and stability to start and get in a good position. So we want to kind of reduce the parking. If you are going to give someone an assistive device, you really want to have it fitted professionally. Most people think that the higher the walker, the more people are going to stand up. It's actually opposite of that, because you want your elbows to be straight where you can use your arm strength to keep yourself up. So, you know, there's specific heights things are supposed to be. So reach out to professionals to have these devices fitted. Handing people a pair of walking sticks may or may not be a good thing. You want to make sure that they can sequence things correctly. And then so assistive devices are really good to reduce the physical strain. Tools like we keep talking about, the gait belts, the lifts, the pivot discs, sliding boards, they can minimize our caregiver effort, so we can do the task more efficiently with less effort. It also protects our caregivers from back injuries and overexertion. The biggest, most important thing an assistive device can do is give people the feeling of independence, okay? Where they may feel unsteady walking without a walker, if you give them a device and now they can walk without people hanging on, that's a way better feeling of independence than if, you know, people were hanging on to them. So again, walkers, canes, grab bars in a shower, something like that can empower your loved ones to perform tasks on their own. Okay? Any questions on assistive devices?
Well, yes, I do. This fellow that had the hip replacement keeps telling me, oh, I have to transfer from my walker to my cane. I don't think the way he leaves his walker here and walks without it and things, I don't think that's too smart. So I keep on saying, please use your walker.
Mm-hmm. Well, then that's a really good point too. Yes, he should. And a cane and a walker are not the same tool.
No.
Right? There's different progressions of how much assistance you have, and a walker gives you more assistance than a cane does. So just because you use a cane here, and like I have people that use a cane outside and a walker inside, that makes no sense to me, because outside is going to be way more challenging than inside. Maybe going down a stairway, if you only have one handrail, that cane can be good to do that. But, you know, just interchanging them, it's not how those devices work. Again, this is why you want to consult someone who's a professional in it to talk to you about proper devices. Okay? Thank you for saying that. Why else can we use them? That improves our quality of care. We ensure proper alignment and positioning with tools with like adjustable beds, transfer sheets, pillows, or cushions. Pillows are huge in keeping people in good postures. And it boosts our confidence. The assistive devices provide reassurance to both caregivers and loved ones in daily activities, right? So like with your gentleman who's thinking he needs to use a cane, that puts worry on the caregiver if he's not using the walker like he's supposed to and goes to the cane, because you can probably see he's a little more unsteady than he should be.
And then he leaves the cane here and there and goes walking without it.
And then he leaves the devices
Then he
and just
doesn't
says,
know
what the heck, we don't need
Where's
anything.
the cane? I don't know.
Yes, many stories like that do not always end well, for sure. So remember to continue to look at the root cause of the symptom and not think that the assistive device will fix it. Because a lot of times why we need an assistive device is either our body mechanics are off or our strength isn't there. So those are two ways that we can fix that, where we need an assistive device less. We may still need one, but it might not be that we need it as much. Okay, the assistive device again is just a tool. And what the heck are adaptive devices? So a little different than assistive devices, we have adaptive equipment or adaptive devices. And those could be things like reachers and grabbers, long-handled shoe horns, ramps and stair lifts, shower chairs, grab bars. There's kind of a fine line of what one is and what the other is. They kind of overlap a bit. God bless you. Adaptive utensils, hearing aids, amplified phones, caption phones that can see things, magnifying glasses, flashlights could even be an assistive tool if it's hard to see, speech-to-text devices, technology for accessibility. Even on our iPhones, like making the text larger, what else can I say? Maybe, what's that, voice-to-text, yep, those kind of things. And these are specifically designed tools that help individuals perform daily tasks more easily and independent. Well, hello there. Hi. So why assistive devices and adaptive equipment are important? We can promote independence and dignity, reduce physical strain on caregivers, increase safety and accessibility in daily life. Adaptive devices bridge the gap between challenges and solutions, empowering individuals and their caregivers alike. You can sit there, or you can come and be up close and personal with me. It's okay, I'll stay in the back. You know what, let me just hand you guys these. Here's what we're doing. Okay. All right, moving on. So mobility matters. Why mobility is the key to success. It's social, we can do travel, we do hobbies, and it's really about having fun. Because again, what do we want? Quality of life, right? Fun is that. Mobility is critical for successful aging in place. We have decreased need for assistance with ADLs and chores.
Quiet out there too, right?
Hey Larry. How we doing?
How are you?
Good, good to see you.
Enjoy.
Thanks.
Have a good session.
Okay, will do. We'll be here when you get out. So mobility is critical for successful aging in place. We identify the status, we move, we build, we improve, and then we excel at what we're doing. Decreased need for assistance with ADLs and chores. If we improve our mobility, we reduce our caregiver burden. We spend less on healthcare due to preventing falls and hospitalizations. We eliminate the need for more costly home modifications, which again, if we want to age in place, some of these things might have to happen if our mobility starts to decline, like a ramp, a stair lift, things like that. Minimizes the number of community services and costs required to stay at home. It increases ease of access to our community, so it's not as hard to get out and go to things. And it decreases the need for us to have to change. I'm all over the place, so if you're trying to find me, don't just flip through it. One of the keys to mobility is having relationships. For many of you, your friends and family have passed away, but there's a lot of people out in the world, right? Find people, connect with them. And that was from a TED Talk with Kathleen Toomey called The Secret to Successful Aging. And that really hit me because it's so true, right? As we're getting older and staying alive longer, some of our family and friends may not be there that have been big supports to us throughout the years. But it doesn't mean we can't find more, and it doesn't lessen the effect and how much we love those people. But there's more people out there who are going to help us through things too. Okay, thanks. It's okay, we'll just pause and let them.
I want to take this moment to go get a beer.
We're good.
Okay, you can go. You want to go? I handed you water, so, you know. All right, I'm just going to start, but just jump in when you come back, okay? Okay. Thank you, David. All right, so what's needed to maintain our mobility? We have a med review, health screening, hydration. Oop, there it is again. Drink that water. fall risk screening, strength, balance, safety at home, and resources. With our company, we can help you with the 5 that are in green. The other one is up to you, hydration, and then health screening and med review can be done by your team doctor. All right, so what are our warning signs of decreased mobility? We have decreased endurance, weakness, worry, staying indoors more, fear of falling. The fear of falling may increase. We may have it, and it's something that we can't really ever get rid of, but we can build confidence to reduce it. Okay, we have decreasing social activity, we have more pain, we can't stand very long, because what we're finding is that people tend to walk or sit, and there's not a lot of standing time in between, so that stability muscles are getting weaker. We watch TV a lot. We're only sitting in one chair, not eating at the table anymore. We're sitting where we're kind of living in our chair. We don't have any hobbies. We feel lonely. We're not drinking enough water. We're having difficulty getting around. We're afraid of moving. We use physical therapy as exercise instead of going out there and doing exercise on our own or finding classes like they have at the Council on Aging's. We have confusion. We have difficulty cooking, frequent falls. We're limiting our travel. We're playing kind of what-if situations more in our mind. We're even reminding ourselves of our age more often. We're not leaving our house, and that everything you need is right near your chair. So you're limiting how you're being mobile. And there's probably more than that. And here's a thought on physical therapy, okay? I relate this to AAA. If you have AAA for your car, it's like AAA diagnosing your breakdown, right? Physical therapy steps in when your body is already injured or has reached a critical point, addressing pain, injury, or loss of function. Okay. So they assess, AAA assists you like therapists helping restore mobility and strength, much like AAA gets your car back on the road after trouble, right? So there we go. And then we avoid, with proper exercise, personal training, and proactive care, you can reduce the need for physical therapy just as care maintenance prevents breakdowns. So I am not in any way demeaning physical therapy because I am that, and I know the importance of it, but it's what happens after you're out of physical therapy. And part of the reason why I started this company is because what I found was that after people get out of physical therapy, they go back to doing not much for themselves. And then all of a sudden they're wondering why we need to round back into physical therapy. So we're filling that gap after physical therapy discharges to encourage people and empower people to continue exercising and doing things on your own to increase and promote your health. How you doing? Thanks for coming in. So invest in your body now, regular movement and strength building to stay ahead, but have peace of mind that physical therapy is always there if you need help. And it's not just physical therapy, it's occupational therapy, speech therapy, whatever kind of therapy you need, mental health counselors, all of that helps us keep doing well. Okay, again, so what did we say? How to improve our quality of life? It's 6 steps. We break it down, so whatever it is, that obstacle, we make a list. We find help. We have fun along the way. We pat ourselves on the back, because again, that's a good stretch, and it tells yourself you did a good job, right? And then you're going to repeat every obstacle, every time, because this is the game plan for getting to that quality of life that we want. So we're going to talk about this successful aging pillar number 2, which is safety. We are going to talk about environment and the access to services. I like to call this one, I love my home, but does my home love me? Because we all want to stay at home. That is our goal to age in place, right? Or most of us. So we do have a home safety checklist. I think there's 28 items on the list that are pretty imperative to being able to stay safe at home. Take the time to do that and just see where you're at with it. Any questions, feel free to reach out. But those are pretty basic things that we need to stay safe at home. Okay, so I love my home, but does my home love me? So if you are noticing disrepair in a home, it's probably a good sign that things are not going well on the inside either. because all of a sudden this feeling of I need to be independent and I'm not asking people for help. It might be a financial thing, it might be a needing more control thing, but sometimes it's the needed home maintenance kind of starts going by the wayside. So these are pretty big signs that maybe inside isn't going well as either. Is your loved one's whole world around one place like this to sit? This is actually my uncle's love seat, where his mobility started getting very limited. He doesn't really like going out to see other people, and his whole world started revolving around here. And I will tell you, he is now in bed, is bed bound, and his bed looks like this too, because his whole world now has become right next to him. He eats in bed, he sleeps in bed, he ate and took naps here. So obviously he sleeps in bed, but he's now living his whole life in his bed. So if that's starting to happen, that's a huge sign that mobility has decreased exponentially. He may have only been going out to doctor's appointments at that point, nothing really engaging with the community. So why we need home modifications to make it easier to access. In my uncle's case, we had even talked about getting a wheelchair so that if he wasn't easy to walk around because he had a lot of hip pain, his ankles weren't working correctly, that he could use the wheelchair to get around. He absolutely did not want that and just wanted to sit. So home modifications, there's 3 key performance indicators that I've found that I think are pretty worth mentioning. Home modifications reduce the risk of falls that have experienced, the risk of falling of individuals that have experienced falls before home modifications by 39%. So just by adding simple grab bars or even pulling up a rug or keeping dishes lower where people can access them better, whatever of those home modifications happened, people reduced the risk of falling by 39%. And that was done by a study with the CDC. AARP did a study where they found 90% of older adults can continue living independently at home for 5+ years after implementing their key home modifications, which that's a huge amount. And Genworth Financial found that the cost of home modifications versus nursing home care, people were saving 94.2% in their savings. So pretty big factors of why simple home modifications, and they might not be big or small, they might be bigger ones, but there's a lot of stats saying that you will be able to live home safer for longer.
I'm putting a second banister to go downstairs into the cellar.
Oh, good idea.
Because one isn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I should do it for going upstairs too.
There you go. Good thinking. And that's being proactive, right? When you start to feel a problem, you don't wait till a problem happens, right? So let's talk modifications, adaptable changes to make your home safe. They could be small, moderate, or big. Okay, so here's some game changers. If you have a toilet that is away from the wall, putting 2 grab bars in, you could do a commode over there. I will tell you, if you have a man in the house, you might not like the commode very much unless you get a split top commode to be more comfortable to sit on. We all know clap on, clap off lamps, right? They actually have clap on, clap off light bulbs. Those are great if people can clap. So it might not be the answer. I had one of my friends had a lot of arthritis in her hand. I bought her a clap on, clap off lamp thinking I was the best thing there. She couldn't clap loud enough to get the lamp to work. So that might not be the answer, but they do work a lot, especially in closets. If there's no light in a closet, just put one of those in, clap on, clap off. I think they come battery operated too. Different types of rollators. If it's someone who is outdoors a lot, having bigger wheels on a rollator might be the answer, so they can go on different terrain but still have some help them with their balance. And then you can get into a bigger one like a lift and a ramp into a vehicle, which my friend at Quarter Travel, she has this, and that's a good way for us to take people traveling and with wheelchairs. Sorry if I'm in your way if you want to see that one.
What's that? Is that a lamp on the rollator?
This thing right here?
Mhm.
No, it's the backrest. Yeah, so they sit facing that way, and then that just, if they can lean against that when they're taking a rest. Hmm. It's a pretty big, nice, wide one too, and soft, so it's good. Yep. So in your packets, I did include, I believe, a home modification worksheet. And so this is something you can take home as a tool, find out where some problem areas are, do a little homework. It says areas of concern, potential safety issues, areas needing immediate change, professional recommendations. And then you can use a contractor name and number, get a couple of quotes, let them know what assistive devices are needed to be used with that equipment, how to obtain, is it private pay, is it insurance through a medical office, or is it some equipment you may get at the Council on Aging, which is either most are free, some are loaner programs. Meaning when you're done with it, bring it back, kind of thing, okay? I know in Florida they do charge. I tried to get a rollator from a Council on Aging in Florida, and they wanted to charge me $35 a month for it. So you can determine your budget and then comments and info. Okay, other options are available too. So if your home, again, I love my home, but my home love me? If the answer is no, my home doesn't necessarily love me so much anymore, look for other options. There's apartment complexes, you know, maybe building a new home, maybe apartment, an in-law apartment with your children if they're wanting to be caregivers. That doesn't happen all the time, so don't assume that you're just going to live with your kids, right? Really have conversations about it. An assisted living or nursing home. Like if these are all other options that can be there if your home really isn't loving you. Nursing homes, don't forget, they're more a medical model. If you need medical care, a nursing home may be the best place to go. Assisted livings are somewhat medical, not very. You may need other medical companies coming in to help you in an assisted living, so that could be an added cost onto that too. But it just depends. If you know, figure out what your options are. Modifications. Think about traveling. Have people stopped going to loved ones' homes for the holidays because they can't get up the stairs, they can't get in and off the toilet? Things like that shouldn't limit people going to those holiday gatherings, right? Ask for modifications. Maybe you bring your own commode with you. Maybe you rent a ramp for the day to get up and down the stairs. So as caregivers, we need to find out what our loved one needs and make adaptable changes to make our, the home we're going to safe for the loved ones to be able to join in. Because look how happy that family is right there. Don't we all want that, right? Okay, so then we have access to services and emergency preparedness. We want to think about that with our home safety, our safety at home. Do we have an emergency kit and a suitcase packed? If you're going in and out of the hospital quite often, just have that suitcase packed and ready to go. It's the same if you were pregnant, right? You have a packed bag to go. So same thing if there's a medical condition that might need a lot of care going in and out of the hospital, have the suitcase packed. Remember your phone charger, my goodness, buy an extra one. Don't keep going in and out of the bag, because I will tell you it's probably the number one thing at a hospital that people forget, and then they borrow it, and then somebody loses one, and it's a thing. So here we have hurricanes at times, so we want to have a disaster plan, emergency preparedness plan in place. In case of a disaster, do you know what shelter you need to go to? What is supposed to happen is if we have a disaster, certain shelters are for certain things. Like if you are diabetic and need insulin, if you are in a wheelchair, if you are on oxygen, there may be a specific shelter that you go to, because it's easier to bring that equipment to one shelter than trying to hit all different shelters where everybody's at. So We did do a little research in our area. Fire departments, police departments aren't super aware of this. So, but this is what the federal government is saying is supposed to be happening. So, just make sure that you talk to your fire department, let them know if you have a special need, find out if there's appropriate shelter, and if there isn't necessarily, just let them know that you have special needs in oxygen. They may give you certain stickers to put in your window, so if there was an emergency, they would know. They may have lists to put you on needing special equipment, so they know in their database that who might need extra help. Yes?
I know from my personal, both my parents were on oxygen towards the end of their life. I had called the gas company or the electric company because we'd lost power.
Yes.
So they made sure they were put on a priority list.
Great.
For that.
Yes, and if you didn't hear Karen on camera there, what she was saying is the utility companies, you can call them and let them know if your loved one needs special power for equipment, oxygen mostly, right? But also refrigeration. If you're on specific medication that needs refrigeration, that the utility company needs to know that, electric gas, right, that you are a priority customer and may need extra help to maintain your life. Thank you. Okay, and then community support networks. What services do you need to call or serial numbers on your equipment do you need to have? If you have a very customized wheelchair, you need that serial number. If you have a defibrillator, pacemaker, things like that, you need those serial numbers. You need to have those on hand in your emergency kit if anything goes on. So if something went wrong or got broken, that you need those serial numbers to get your equipment replaced and maintain your quality of life. Okay? So again, how do we improve our quality of life? We break it down, whatever the obstacle is. We make a list. We find help. We have fun along the way. We pat ourselves on the back because, again, it's a good stretch, right? And repeat. Okay, so on to successful aging pillar number 3. These are resources. It could be social, community, spiritual, existential, fulfillment, and our contribution to the community. I will define these for you. So social is a strong relationship and meaningful connections with family, friends, peers that provide you emotional support and reduce feelings of isolation. Loneliness is the #1 health problem right now over cardiovascular problems, which is pretty statistic. And I think falls might be #2. So we're edging up with things other than just our physical health. It's bringing in emotional things too. Our community, we want to engage in local groups, activities, or networks, foster a sense of belonging and shared purpose. Again, council on aging, senior centers, churches, social clubs, all of those can help you do that. Again, along with churches, spiritual, existential. So we want to explore our personal beliefs and connection with a higher purpose, right? That offers us comfort, guidance, and resilience during life's goals or life's challenges. Again, life's challenges, not our goals. And again, you don't have to be religious to believe in something. So if you have religion, and that's a great place to go find that. But if you're more spiritual, it's good to have something to believe in. So fulfillment, achieving our personal goals, and enjoying hobbies or interests. Again, that makes that social connection. It creates a sense of satisfaction and accomplishment. And as, I don't know, you can probably tell by the people coming and going, there's different classes starting up. There's people coming in and out of the senior center or the council on aging here that, that they're finding that purpose. They're connecting with others. And then we want to contribute, right? We want to give back to others, whether through volunteering or helping loved ones. Enhances our self-worth and a sense of purpose. And it may even just be like trick-or-treating and handing out Halloween candy, right? That gives people such a sense of purpose if kids come to their door and they can give them candy. So just, it could be little, it could be big of how you want to contribute. So that's for loved one. Resources with the caregiver in mind. Again, it's a strong network of friends or joining caregiver support groups to provide emotional relief, reduce feelings of isolation, and offer a space where people can share experiences. There's something about that strength in numbers, that if you're feeling like it's only you against the world, go out, because there's other people having your same experiences. It may be a little different, but they're pretty much the same experiences, and now you know that you're not alone in this. Your community, you can access community programs or resources which offer practical support, such as we have a Time to Talk group where we can talk to, it just changed, we're actually going to talk to the loved ones about how they feel about care, but we can give therapy-based perspectives on how to improve care and help people feel not as overwhelmed or as dependent. Respite care or educational workshops can help caregivers feel less overwhelmed. Again, going into spiritual existential, exploring spiritual practices or personal beliefs can help caregivers find meaning in their role and cope with the emotional challenges of caregiving. It can also give them the sense of power to ask for respite, that again, they're not alone. Pursuing hobbies or personal goals in small ways helps caregivers maintain their identity and prevent burnout. If caregivers love to paint, then they need to find some respite. The community can help them find that so they can go out and do their hobbies. Or bring it to their home. They could even bring your friends over and you all can do a paint and sip night or something, right? Contribution, recognizing the value of caregiving work as meaningful contribution to their loved one's quality of life, fosters a sense of pride and purpose. And we don't want to be this, where we've got 1% left in our battery, because that's not healthy for anybody. And that, going back to this could be professional caregivers as well as personal caregivers. So all that I'm talking about for caregiving could go professional or personal, because as therapists, we do a lot of this too. We need to make sure our battery's not at 1% through our occupation, so that we can continue to be a good provider as well. All right, and we need to ask for help. So here's our who to call for what list. So we have personal and community resources. There are so many out there. I've included the library, non-medical home care, we have a personal concierge, we have elder services, we have attorneys, we have realtors. All of those people are resources in our community. Reverse mortgage. All of those people in our community can help us decrease our burden and find better ways to live. What do you need? Write it down. What do you think you need? And I guarantee you there is somebody out there, especially as we are all understanding that caregivers need more and more help as we go along. There are companies created all the time to help caregivers and their loved ones. If you have questions, the best place to start would be Senior Center or Council on Aging. And here's some information to do that. National Council of Aging. Its website, again, the STEADY program that the CDC has created, the Stopping Elderly Accidents, Deaths, and Injuries, all out of the Center for Disease Control, and Coastline Elder Services for our area. So look for it's called an ASAP in your area, Area Services on Aging Provider or something.
Service area provider.
Area provider.
Yeah.
Aging
Adult
services.
service area
Aging.
provider.
Okay, there we go. We have, our coastline that's, again, helping us with this presentation is in 7 different communities down here. So they all cover a clump of people, okay? All right. And thank you to our veterans. There's also, in every town, there is a veteran services officer. If you are a veteran, feel free to reach out and explore what your options are. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that you don't have to have served for very long as you have served.
That's correct.
Right? Mm-hmm. And it's not only for the veteran, but it could also be for the veteran spouse to gain some resources. Okay? So one of the number one problems we have as caregivers and as loved ones is what happens when transportation goes away. All right, and there's also medical transportation versus non-medical transportation, which gets really tricky. So it's a big key to talk about driving cessation and what's going to happen after that. And we have a volunteer who is young, but is now experiencing vision problems. So it's not only as we get older what happens about driving, but sometimes it hits us when we're not expecting it. And it is amazing that even the ophthalmologist that she goes to, they don't have any lists. There's no information out there. So she's now compiling a whole list of her own, which kudos to her to get that going and figure that out before the time comes before she needs to stop driving, which it is already starting to be limited. So she needs to figure out how to get other places. And it's not just about asking friends, because friends or family might not always be able to take you. You need to have a backup of some type of company or bus service or whatever to get you places. And again, how do we improve quality of life? We break it down. So in that case that we just talked about, it would be transportation options. We make a list of how we're going to do it. We find the help or the resource to do it. We're going to have some fun along the way, because guess what? You might meet new people, especially if you're on a bus. You might meet some interesting characters. Pat yourself on the back that you figured it out, and then repeat. Okay, bringing us to successful aging pillar number 4. We're talking about caregivers, and that's autonomy and independence. A caregiver is someone who provides assistance and support to another person who is physically, emotionally, or cognitively challenged and cannot fully care for themselves. This role can involve helping with daily activities, managing medical needs, offering emotional support, or facilitating communication and decision making. Caregivers may be family, friends, or professionals, and their responsibilities vary based on whatever the individual needs. There isn't one blueprint of how to do it. We can do categories, but exactly what people need, it's all going to be customized to that person and to the caregiver. So it's because of the team dynamics too, there's a lot of moving parts, right? So autonomy and independence, we want to empower our people to thrive. Autonomy is the ability to make decisions for yourself and your loved one, fostering a sense of control and confidence in caregiving. But are you doing too much for your loved one? So if you're making all the decisions, that might not be the best for your caregiving. And again, it depends on the situation. If it's a necessity to make all the decisions because your loved one cannot make decisions, then okay. But check in and make sure, because everybody wants to feel important and that they're leading their life. You want to promote your loved one's independence by encouraging them to participate in their care as they are able. This can lighten your load, reduce stress, and preserve their dignity. Using adaptive devices we talked about to empower self-care for your loved one, delegate tasks and set boundaries to maintain your personal time. Ask your loved one what their preferences are. A lot of times I go in and I'm like, well, one of the things in our assessment is talking about what are your chores? What are your hobbies? And if there's a loved one that says, oh, I don't have any chores, I ask, why not? Because there's simple things that no matter what they're doing, they could fold washcloths. They could maybe stand at the counter and clean silverware in the sink. There's so many things that we can do to help our loved ones maintain some independence. And it's better to have a plan of how to do all of that than, it's better to have a plan you don't use than to have no plan when you need one, because someone like this may be doing the planning for you. Right? So many times in the hospital, caregivers were brought in because of crisis, and it might not be the caregiver you really want making your decisions for you. So talk it out, be ahead of time, make that plan of who may be giving care, who might be your healthcare proxy. Those things could be very determined depending on what your family and friends look like. I just think that picture is so funny. There is a healthcare proxy, like I mentioned. How many people have a healthcare proxy? 2, 3? Nancy, you have a healthcare proxy? 4, 5, yeah. No?
Come see me.
Okay, yep, talk to Karen. We all need healthcare proxies because if something tragic happens and you're in the hospital and you can't talk for yourself, you need someone that you trust talking for you and making some decisions.
I also have a power of attorney and I've got my fingerprints.
Good, that's awesome, you're making that plan, nice. And it's good to have one because now the worry is off because you don't have to worry about those things. Like why wait until the end or a crisis happens when you're trying to make all these plans?
And everyone should have one as soon as they turn 18. It's a misconception that it's for older people.
Yeah.
We could all,
Anything could happen.
car accident.
Yeah. So again, what Karen was just saying is that anyone should have a plan as after you turn 18 because anything can happen to any of us. We don't want to wait till we're older because what is that number? That means something different to all of us. I was just in I had a clinic that I did in Florida that I asked them who had a plan, and I had two 96-year-olds raise their hand. And I was like, that's fantastic, you have a plan. I said, you have it written down and you've shared it with people. And they're like, oh no, it's all up here. So that is a plan, but unless you're telling people what that plan is, that plan may not come to fruition. So make sure you write it down. Another thing I put up here is the MOLS form. These two things are very important if you have a file of life on your fridge, that if anything happens, the EMTs or whoever comes to help you in an emergency has this information. A MOLS form talks about if you want to be resuscitated, intubated, or have special requests if some emergency happens. Very important if you have one of these that people know about it, because if you do not want to be resuscitated and no one knows about it, chances are they are going to do the CPR on you. Okay, any questions about that, reach out, we can talk more about that.
The form is in here?
That form is not in here,
Oh,
no.
okay.
Yeah, that form,
And
but,
most is not legally binding, whereas a healthcare proxy is.
okay.
Most, like an advance directive, gives your loved one direction on your wishes.
Okay. So, and again, if you didn't hear that, healthcare proxy is legally binding. They have to follow this. This is what your wishes and who you want to have speak for you. MOLS form is what your wishes might be. At the moment, people need to follow this plan, but it is not legally binding.
It is with the doctor's office.
And it's with the doctor's office.
Oh, good.
Yeah, both of them should be with the doctor's office. Yeah. This one, the MOLS form needs to be signed by a doctor.
A physician,
Yeah,
yes.
it may not be your doctor, it might be a doctor in the hospital, but if you have it ahead of time, then they can bring it to the hospital and so the hospital knows. Any more on that? We're good?
The healthcare proxy, the reason why, I know when you go to a doctor, they have you do one with your doctor, but it just covers that facility. So if you have a universal healthcare proxy, or like it's more adorable when it's done by an attorney, make sure they get a copy of it, so that way anyone can speak on, whoever you have listed can speak on your behalf, not just to South Coast, it would be for like Hawthorne.
That's interesting, I didn't know that. So what Karen's saying, again, if you can't hear that, what she would just said is, it's good to have the healthcare proxy done by an attorney because it becomes universal and binding for any facility that you're going into. If you have it just done at the doctor's office, it's only,
Just for South Coast,
it's,
yeah.
it's just for that facility or that group of doctors. Okay, thank you.
That's interesting.
That's interesting. Okay, and we talked about the who to call for what. In this picture, the leaves are kind of collective effort of unique skills. This should be in your booklets. And I put up there Blank's team. So whoever the loved one is that you're doing, it's Blank's team. If I didn't put it in there, let me know, and I'll get that to you. The branches are the team members who are unique and have an important role. The trunk is your strength, stability, connection, your resilience, your identity, and your character. So that's important for people to know. The roots are your health, your fitness, how am I getting around, for mobility, my happiness, my quality of life, my stability, and it's your base of support. That is, again, not just physically, but emotionally, cognitively, and all that. So I just gave examples of the worksheet. Medical could be pain management, medication management, symptom control, hospice care, medical appointments, physical therapy, palliative care, skilled nursing care, medical equipment setup, home, personal care. So as you can see, there's a lot of things that go into making a plan. And if you think one person can do all of that for you, you're probably going to be burning them out. So as a caregiver, we look at all this and we bring in other people and other things to help us out. Okay? And under the, I even have outings on there, different groceries, recreational activities, home, we have the home safety modification, who's doing chores, respite care, pet care even. Did anybody see the pet company that's going around scooping people's pet poop?
Oh, there's a sign on the tree that says, scoop.
Yeah, but how important an older adult, if they have some mobility challenges, they can still continue and take care of that pet. They might just need a little extra help, so now there's a company out there that can help them do that, right? And then what else? We have advanced directives, healthcare proxy, estate planning, funeral planning, financial planning, insurance claims, again, reverse mortgage, advocacy, case management. If you don't have anybody, there are people out there. Like, again, we have Andrea over here who's a personal care concierge, that if you don't have family to help, you can have a company that can back you up. Okay. And on it goes. So, looking back at your quality of life sheet, and actually I'll hand these to these people over here. That's what we're talking about now. If they're not in there, let me know. So look at that. When you originally came in and thought what your obstacles are, you want to review this again now that you have more information and see what else you can add to that, or take off your list of things you need to do and add that to somebody else's list. So why older adults are having trouble beating the odds? I've come up with pretty much 5 main excuses overall, is it kind of generic. A, I'm too old, which doesn't happen. I'm not a flamingo, which is really their ability reality is out of alignment. I just hang on to the handrail and I'm good. I heard this once and it made me realize that person really had decreased safety awareness, because physical therapy had gone in and told her that's how she's not going to fall. So she's really not looking at a bigger picture other than she might be, I feel like she's really thinking about falling a lot, and this is how I'm going to solve my problem, is just by hanging on to the handrail. My uncle's words were, my couch is fine. That couch is broken down. I had added a board underneath because it was sagging and cushions, and where they don't want to spend money on necessities or update things because they, as my aunt said one time, well, why would I get a new car? I don't know how much longer I'm going to be here. Well, if the car is breaking, you want it to be good as long as you can, And a classic one is, if insurance won't pay for it, I won't do it. That is a huge one. So a lot of people are flooding physical therapy because insurance will pay for it, instead of going to a gym or some type of social club membership to get themselves in staying in shape. And it's all about that mindset, the attitude, the behavior, the action, the results, and performance. If that's stuck somewhere, we're not changing our mindset on things. The number 2 reason why things are going wrong is that we have a huge fear of falling. Sometimes it's the caregiver's fear of the person, not the actual person who's unsteady. So caregivers tend to keep people sitting quietly, not doing a lot of activities because they're so worried they're going to fall. They're actually perpetuating that falling happening because they're getting decreased mobility and strength. If it's a loved one who has the fear of falling, they may be limiting themselves. And again, as we become sedentary, and I think I have a slide in here, let me see. Yeah, so here's the slide. As we have a sedentary lifestyle, it starts the vicious cycle spinning. We get decreased activity and social engagement, so we all of a sudden need more increased assistance, which lead us to doing more of a sedentary lifestyle, and on and on and on, up and up and up, until either we crash and burn or there's a fall or something. So we want to make sure that everybody's moving as much as possible and keeping that mobility happening. All right, so what do you do if someone falls?
You don't pick them up.
Call 911, you don't pick them up. Anybody else?
Have all the medical, like healthcare proxies, MOLS, make sure you know where those are.
Yep.
And have them with you.
Yeah, that file of life, there's actually, it comes in a little magnetized pocket that you can slap it right on your fridge, and as you're going out, take it right with you, stick it in your purse or your pocket or something. That gives all that information, like Karen was saying, your healthcare proxy, your MOLS, you might have medication list in there, and you might even put the who to call for what list in there.
And you can we put all our documents on a USB drive, so you can also do things like that too.
Look at how fancy you are, putting it on a USB drive. Okay, you could do that too. Thank you for that idea. All right, so those are all things to do. So I didn't really talk about. So again, we don't want to pick people up right away. We want to have people kind of assess themselves and see if anything hurt. Especially if there's a head strike, call the ambulance. Have people come assess them and make sure, because sometimes when you bump your head, you may not see the effects. And if you're on blood thinners, let me tell you, go get checked out, because you may not see that for a couple days down the road, and then all of a sudden we're having some big major problems. Always good to get checked out. If there's any pain, other than like sore muscles or something, make sure you get it checked out, because there might have been a fracture. We want to make sure we're not walking around with a fractured hip. Okay, so how do we change this mindset? It's called belief revision. One of the hardest things we all need to try to do, right? How easy is it to tell yourself you're going to get up and exercise every morning? Right? It's hard for me. So changing that belief. So how do we do that? We offer opportunities to practice mobility and get better at it, make it fun. We don't want to call it fall prevention. I've learned that I really rarely say my presentations and clinics are on fall prevention, because people don't want to hear it, because that means bad things happen. So we have to change how we talk about things and make it in a more positive light. So like Larry's stability and mobility class, so you could easily call that Larry's fall prevention class, but who's going to want to go to it, right?
I do it twice a week.
But it's called stability and mobility. If you called it fall prevention, would you want to go to it?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. You are very proactive, Nan, so that's good. We want to help individuals foster relationships with peers to follow that are already being mobile, staying active, having that proper mindset. We want to inundate seniors with education that is in many formats so that they hear the one they need to hear. Kindness, we need to have kindness when they fail, as people may have to learn the hard way, and we can't do everything for them. And the more that we allow people to have it their idea versus us telling them what to do, because who wants to be told what to do? Not me, right? I'm a very rebellious person. So we need to make it more their idea. And we need to try asking questions versus giving them lectures. And you can find out the same amount of information by asking a question versus telling them this is what you should do. And you might actually find out more information, because now you're not learning from them. For instance, there's a guy at the Y that goes in, and I was talking to one of the wellness instructors, and he was complaining because this guy comes in all the time and lifts the biggest stack of weights that he can every single time, and he can only do it a few times. That's how he does the whole entire workout room. And this gentleman I was talking to said, all these trainers have talked to him, that's not the proper way, that's how, you shouldn't be doing that. And I said to him, well, has anybody asked him why he does that? And he's like, yeah, well, no, because he just shouldn't be doing that. And I'm like, well, has anybody asked him why he does that? Because we don't know why, like that's not a normal behavior, so there's got to be something more to it about why this guy is going in and lifting all the stack of the weight that he can. Yes, we know he's going to blow out his back or knees or whatever, but there must be a reason why he's doing that, because he's probably been taught somewhere, and the way that he thinks about those weights is a little different than what normal protocol is. So it's very important to ask questions and check in, because then you can start giving instructions if you know where the person's coming from. And it might be completely opposite of why you think they're doing it when you find out the reason why. So caring for others enriches our lives and fosters deep connections and understanding. And if we don't ask those questions, and thank you, Maya Angelou, if we don't ask those questions, we can't get that deeper connection, because we're just putting our own personal values and thoughts onto another person. Our goal is interdependence, not necessarily independence, because how many of you are going out and hunting and gathering? How many of you are painting your own house? How many of you are putting in your sewer, electric, and other utilities, right? Not many of us. So are we really, truly independent? I'm not making my own clothes and, you know, yes, I cook, but I go to the store and pull stuff out. I probably would be vegetarian if I had to go get my own meat, right? So all of that interdependence is where we want to have people. We all have basic needs. So at the bottom of our pyramid, this is where we all lie. If we have pain, if we have PTSD, if we have some vision issues and hearing issues, if we are very cluttered, right? This is kind of where we live, even our happiness. If we are positive and happy, we can move better to the second phase, which is maintenance, which is our strength, our flexibility, being social, active, brain health, home safety. That all kind of lies in that second layer, which is maintenance. Where we really want quality of life is this top layer, which is our performance. So if we're stuck kind of here, it's very difficult to get up to our goal of that interdependence and with our performance, which is purpose, wellness, community, connectedness, learning, optimized, feeling optimized, you know, our hobbies, our family, our enrichment. So we really want to make sure that we do whatever's necessary to get out of this bottom layer, move to the second, and then we can hopefully move up to the third. And as you can tell, it's the top of the pyramid. It's smaller, so it's harder to get to, and not as many people achieve it. All right, so moving on, how do we get to that top of the pyramid? So we need to have these conversations where, with our loved ones, and importantly ourselves, is what do we want, okay? We talked about driving cessation. When that happens, what do we want? Hello there. How you doing? Okay, very important topic of discussion. Also, we want to talk about when time gets short. Again, and what we learned at 18, it might be different than when we're 80. Right? So, but we want to have these conversations going on down the line, because if we only have that conversation when we're 18 with some friends and we turn 80 and something happens, guess what they're going to think is what we told them when we're 18. Okay? That's a very different topic, or maybe very different thinking and when we're 80. And I know these are difficult discussions, very difficult. They recommend having these difficult discussions at Thanksgiving, because the family's gathered. You have a lot of people with you, and you can make it clear so they all hear you all at the same time, and not one here, one there, one there, and then they have different stories, right? You try to have the conversation with everyone at Thanksgiving or somewhere around there when everybody's gathered, and you can get your feelings expressed and your wants addressed. I will say, you know, when time gets short, if you think you have a specific loved one that you want caring for you, or if you are the caregiver and you feel that you can offer something to that person, you want to have those conversations, because sometimes the person that you think is going to care for you is not capable of that. We see that quite often with our clients, and we help them find people that will do that care, but also to open those discussions to find out that that person might actually not do the care what they think that they're going to do, or at least find out what piece of the care they'll be capable of doing. So how do we put this all together, especially as a caregiver of someone that may not have taken the necessary steps in the process to age well, right? It is hard coming in as a caregiver to someone who hasn't taken care of themselves all their lives. right? It's gonna be hard to change their mind about things. You're gonna feel very not wanted at times because it might be completely against someone, even though it's exactly what they need to stay healthy. It's hard to force people into doing things, right? And you really don't want to, because then it's not really a team. It's kind of your way and not their way. So it's really better to have the team approach. So do we guess and run by the seat of our pants? Or do we find a roadmap?
I have a question.
Sure.
The seniors that I talk to about needing help, oh, it's costing money, I can't afford it. There's got to be a way, like this one person is legally blind, that must matter for something.
Absolutely.
For her to get more help in the house, not just once every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
My cousin's sedentary, is that the right word?
Sedentary.
Sedentary,
Mm-hmm.
and her husband's with Alzheimer's doing the same thing, sit all day. You need to do exercises, you need to get up, you need to stimulate.
Right.
Go to the council on aging.
Right.
Goes in one ear and out the other.
Yeah.
So people have got to go in there.
They do, but here's what I've learned as a therapist. You can only care as much as they do.
Yeah, they
And
don't-
that's a huge thing with us as caregivers. You can only care as much as they do. If people don't care and they ignore your suggestions and recommendations, there's not much more you can do, because again, you can't force somebody. You can't force somebody to open their wallet to get necessarily things, right? They have to want to do it. And isn't it amazing? My mother-in-law was very good at this. She would give gifts to everybody because she wanted to give gifts, but she would spend zero money on home modifications that were needed. She would, it was just terrible, but it was frustrating, as you can tell. But this is, again, part of the reason why I'm doing this, because I don't want other caregivers to go through that. It's good to have the plans in place, because when you start to talk about the plans in place, then the price tag comes along with it. So we get to see, because so many people say they're going to an assisted living, right? But then they actually find out how much an assisted living might cost, and that might be a deterrent. So it's good to have all the costs up front, or it might not be a deterrent, but now they realize they need to start saving now if that's what they want to do, and put other plans in place to get there. Go right ahead. Oh dear. Well, thank you so much. Okay, you go get that. Thank you, Nancy. Okay, so in your packet there should be the roadmap. This is our quality of life roadmap. We start by keeping people strong. We check out home modifications. We find resources in the community. We talk about caregivers and how we can support them. And where do we find them for ourselves, right? Or for, if we are a caregiver, what other caregivers can we bring into our team? We also have, then we start calling the who to call for what list. We talk about driving cessation, and then we talk about when time gets short to have our road mapped out all the way to the end. And as Karen had stated, 18 is a great place to start that, but again, adjust it along the way. Your financial plan, if you're making a financial plan, isn't going to be the same as when you're 30 that it is when you're going to be 80, right? Things are going to change. Our medications, how many times do you hear people say, well, I've been on that medication forever, why did it stop working? Guess what? Our bodies change. Life changes. So it's always good to reassess what you've been doing to make sure it's still on track and going well for you. Okay? And these are conversations we need to have, even though we tend to avoid having them. They're very important. So life begins at the end of your comfort zone, right? So get a little uncomfortable with things. Again, how do we improve quality of life? We break it down, whatever it is. We make a list, we find help, we have fun, we pat ourselves on the back, and then we repeat. So just like this, as you can tell, it makes her happy. She's patting herself on the back, right? Give yourself a couple of those. And we all don't know our expiration date, all right? So don't put one on yourself. Keep moving, enjoy life. Keep it going right until the very end. I have a napkin that it says I want to go out skidding into home plate or something like that, you know, having fun all the way to the end. So any questions?
Good job.
Thank you. And thank you so much to all the caregivers out there. We appreciate your time, your care, your motivation, and your dedication, right? Welcome to being 1% of the population interested in beating the odds by being here and getting more education. If you want more info, here's our contact stuff. What did I write here? Where aging well transforms into an inspiring journey. With positivity, support, and the right tools, we help you unlock your potential and embrace a fulfilling, vibrant life. Connect with your community and explore new ways to enhance your well-being and your independence. Thank you again so much for coming. I appreciate you being here. Thank you, thank you. Thanks to the CRA for having us. Thank you.